My name is Mohammed Ajesua, Mayor of Accra. Climate change, we all know, requires collective action. What is dear to my heart personally, and also a critical matter which is confronting African cities. We are implementing major open space greening projects. Introduce waste segregation in public schools and communities. Implementing a bus rapid transit system and developing a framework for encouraging the use of renewable energy sources in public buildings as a first step. We follow the principle of leaving no one behind. Accra is set on ensuring that not only our city moves ahead, but that we build the capacity and resilience of our neighboring cities. The COVID-19 pandemic has offered a chance for us to collectively rebuild and reimagine our cities will look like in the future. By addressing the climate crisis in an inclusive way, cities of all sizes can be essential economic engines for a green and just recovery.
History teaches us that public health crises have been catalysts for urban revival. Is it about bouncing back or is it about bouncing forward? Green recovery is about improving our very quality of life. So let's keep things simple. Create more space for people to run, walk, bike, cut both costs and polluting emissions by producing and especially consuming green energy. Everybody wants trees. So let's start planting. Let's make our public spaces cooler and actually help water penetrate the ground. We have quadrupled the budget for greening the city. We're investing heavily in the necessary infrastructure projects. We are looking at interventions for energy efficiency and maximization in our schools. We are not talking about climate change. We are talking about climate crisis.
COVID hit our budget, but we are working with our community spirit and creativity to build a more resilient city for the future. Hobart's surrounded by lots of wonderful bushland, and our community really appreciated having access to it during COVID, and it's an important part of our community's recovery. This lovely bushland is flammable. Our city is much more at risk of wildfire than many capital cities. These days, the threat of fire is turbocharged by climate change. Drier conditions are creating hotter, fiercer infernos. And so our council invests a lot of time and resources and planning in reducing this fire risk. One of the things I love about this city is that it's a global gateway for science. We're home to polar ships and icebreakers like this one. Our planning looks to the science from the global climate engines of Antarctica and the Southern Oceans to learn what to expect. In many ways, our future is written in the ice.
As the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, I've had the experience of seeing firsthand what economic devastation looks like. Now in the United States, we find ourselves at a critical juncture. As we look to rebuild our nation, our nation's economy, and the transformation to a green economy, the time has never been so purposeful. But as we transfer away from fossil fuels, we have to have in place a green economy to replace the jobs that generations have depended upon.
We're working to create an electric fleet and already have part of that fleet being fueled by solar energy, causing no emissions. Creating energy here, right within our city, and learning how we can create that as an economic opportunity for the benefit of our entire region.
A green recovery and a just recovery mean just that.
Greening Quezon City has always been my dream. Back in 2010, we launched a program called The Joy of Urban Farming. This is our demo farm. So far, we've already trained about 1,000 citizens, both in farming and in composting.
My team taught people vertical gardening and container farming and encouraged them to do composting and produce organic fertilizers. Since food supply was scarce during the quarantine, we have distributed some 36,000 urban farm starter kits. This further helped our communities become self-sufficient and food secure.
We also have an emergency employment program. This is part of our recovery plan against COVID to be farmers in the various farms we have in Quezon City.
Our COVID-19 recovery plan is anchored on providing a better normal for our citizens. It is perennial that we stay the course for green recovery and ensure adequate resources are channeled towards sustainable initiatives to build back better.